Alright, let's go ahead and reassemble this Detective Special. Doesn't really look like it needs any cleaning. I checked my bolt, make sure it was tight, and I'm going to just put a little drop of oil right there. Kind of work it back and forth. Make sure it's all worked in there. Okay. Next thing we're going to want to put in is our trigger assembly. I like to put a little bit of oil where everything's going to be riding. Where metal touches metal, I like to just make sure there's a little bit of oil in there. And go ahead and put some on the trigger itself. Right there. And let's see if we can get all this back in there. Yeah, I like to run an excess of oil on my guns when I first put them together, and then I'll try and sop up a little bit after the fact. And that's nice. Alright, and then we're going to put in our hammer that we've fixed, so to speak. Let's see if we can't get that in there. You're going to want your trigger back about halfway. Your sear on the trigger is going to go right in between these two right here. And then you need to be able to have the hammer back far enough for the firing pin to clear the frame. Then you want the little I'm not sure what that's called, to be honest with you. It needs to be up out of the way so it doesn't interfere with the frame. So it's a little fiddly getting everything in. And I think I need to make sure I got some lube. Right there. Double action, single action. Okay. Okay, now here's an important part that unless you know what you're doing, you don't ever want to mess with this. Sometimes I'll find little burrs on stuff and I'll, try and smooth them out like we're going to do with the mainspring, but I don't ever mess with this part right here. That's too critical to the timing of the gun and not something that I'm a good enough gunsmith to mess with. So tap, make sure it's in all the way. Okay. Let's go ahead and put a little bit on the hand right here. that's in place. So let's set that aside a little bit and just take that sharpening stone that I had earlier, and where somebody nicked this before, it looks like somebody bent this. Probably it was weak and it was bent right there to increase the tension. So anyway, I'm going to take a little sharpening stone, see if I can't just smooth out that nick right there. I also like to make sure that there's no sharp edges right here. Don't know if that does anything, but I know that's where you don't want to change any dimensions right there. You just want to make sure it's smooth. Okay, let's take our pliers. And then the spring's going to have contact point right there and right there. So I'm going to, again, put a little oil right there. Doesn't need much, and I'm sure I use way too much. Go ahead and give her a squeeze. And I'm completely covering up what I'm doing. Sorry about that. Okay, so basically squeezed it and then got it underneath right there, and then put the rear part of the spring into the notch. Alright, so holding onto the hand, go ahead and run it through double action. Oh, the cylinder release got caught right there. Seems to be working. Single action, since there's no hammer spur, just got to give it a little help at first and then bring it back. That feels really nice. Okay, so now we're going to do the side plate. And this was a little dry when I took it apart. A little bit of oil right where the cylinder release is going to slide. Run that in a couple times. Rip off the excess. Okay, now we have to put everything in place and get that hole to line up on that pin simultaneously. So it is a little fiddly. You almost need 3 hands. There we go. You can see the cylinder release is moving the pin. Wipe it down, put a couple screws in there. Okay, and we'll give it one more test run. Alright, looks good. Let's put the cylinder and crane back in. Spring-loaded detent. What I didn't show you is a lot of times these will come apart when you take them apart, and you'll be looking at all three pieces: a spring, a detent, and the outer cap screw. This one came out all together, so okay. Get a nice rub down. See if we can't get a little more of the gun in the camera then. Alright, so we got that back together. Hammer looks much better. Very happy with the way it turned out, all things considered. We're going to go ahead and put some different stocks on it, since I'm not too fond of all that varnish on those original ones. And I've got some nice aftermarket stocks that fit really nice. That's the beauty of these D-frames that were made after 1966. All have this short square butt frame, and you can really change the look and the feel of the gun with a different set of stocks. And there's so many different choices out there. Alright, there we go. One bobbed hammer, 72 Detective Special, set of Badger grips, and I believe this one's ready for concealed weapons duty. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.